So the other things to know before you get a dog is what reactivity looks like. This is super important. If you catch it early, it's gonna be wonderful. But if you let it sit and grow and build and build and build, someone could get hurt, a dog could get hurt, you could get pulled down, a lot of bad things can happen. You're gonna need to spend a lot of money on dog training to hire a professional to do it for you. And so it's really important to know how to prevent reactivity in your dog, how to notice reactivity in your dog, and what to do when your dog is reactive. So I'm gonna give you guys a couple of tidbits here. First off, a reactive dog, his ears are gonna go up, okay? His tail is going to arc over his back. His legs are gonna be braced, and his eyes and nose are going to be what we call locked on to the target. At that point, when you notice your dog's behavioral topography, that's when you need to act quick, okay? So that's what reactivity looks like. Okay, so what happens if I let it go? If we let it go, the dog sees something, boom, his legs go braced, his ears go up, his nose and his eyes are directly pointed at a target, his tail goes up. Next, we're gonna see him load. So it'll look something like he'll crouch down for a second, he'll hold his breath, and then he's gonna launch. He's gonna push off the ground, he's gonna run towards what he's going after, he's gonna be barking, biting, whatever it is, at the mailman, what have you. At that point, it's too much. Whenever he's already launched and he's freaking out, we can do things to stop it. However, it's a lot. It's a lot on the dog, and it's kind of sloppy to let him get there and then try to punish it. I don't recommend it, especially if you're not a trained professional. Typically can get messy. The dog can have what's called redirected aggression sometimes when they're really upset, they can't get to the mailman, they're barking, and then you go over there, you know what I mean, and you do something, and then your dog's not used to you leading them, so they turn around and bark at you or what have you. However, if you must stop your dog when they're reactive, at that point, the e-collar stim is typically not what we do. You wanna get a towel, wad it up, okay, and then just swat your dog's head with it. No, boom, or you could throw it. No. And what that does is the dog's thinking, mailman, get away, get away, get away, get away, boom. Then he gets hit with a towel, okay? It's just like a pillow fight. You feel it, but it doesn't hurt, right? Your dog's gonna be totally fine. So he's thinking, bark, 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 boom, he gets hit with the towel, and then for a split second, he's thinking, whoa, what was that? At that moment, when he's thinking, whoa, what was that? Then we need to call him towards us, come, or pull the leash and get him away from what he was reactive and thinking about. Okay, so that's how to handle it if your dog is freaking out in the house early. How to prevent it, okay? So say our dog is reactive towards the mailman, all right? I see a truck pull up. Ideally, if your dog's reactive, you must have him on a leash and you need to have that leash in your hand. And we wanna do a couple of tools, okay? We wanna have either a prong collar or a slip lead. And they need to be fit at the base of the skull, right? And so say I see this mailman pull up, I'm gonna start being proactive. I'm gonna grab that leash, okay? As soon as I notice my dog notices him, I definitely need to tug the leash, apply pressure enough to move his neck about 2 inches, and I'm gonna try to get his eyes off of what they're on. I can say no, tug, and as soon as he looks at me, come. He comes to me, then I can give another command, down, or I can put him in his kennel, okay? So it's look, lock, load, launch, okay? So we provide a punisher between look and lock. He looks at the mailman, I know he's about to lock, load, and launch because that's what he's done prior. As soon as he looks at the mailman, boom, I put my leash tug with the prong collar, slip lead, whatever it is, right there, and then I get his focus on me, and from that I redirect it where I need it to go. Or if he's loading, then I do it. But loading is a little bit late. Sometimes they'll just, boom, explode as soon as they see pressure. So you really want to get it between look and lock. So that's how to stop it from happening, how to see it, what it looks like, and then the stages of reactivity. So how you can prevent it is, as a puppy, if I ring the doorbell and he doesn't react, ring the doorbell, give him a treat. Open the door, give him a treat. When the mailman comes up and the puppy sees the mailman, call your puppy's name, your puppy looks at you, then give him a treat, then tell him to lay down. then give him another treat. Something like that. And every time somebody comes over, as soon as a puppy sees them, I'll call the puppy's name. He looks at me, I give him a treat. The guests open the door, I give my puppy another treat. The puppy looks at the guests, I call my puppy's attention back to me, give him another treat. And I don't want my guests to greet him if I can help it. I'll just say, hey guys, don't greet my puppy right now, okay? We want to avoid getting the dog energized at that crucial moment when somebody walks through the threshold. So let's say we see a dog walking, okay? So I'm walking on a leash, my puppy looks, he locks onto that new dog. I want to get his eyes off so I can tug the prong collar, tug the leash, whatever I have on him, tap the e-collar, get his eyes off of the dog, and then I can keep walking, okay? And I want his head on a swivel. And then once we pass the dog, I can give him a treat. Or if my puppy doesn't care, he can look at the dog, okay? And then he looks at me, I can give him a treat. But we're not going to stop, okay? So a lot of people, when they see cars or dogs coming by, they get their dog to sit, and then they just really focus on keeping the dog's eyes on them. I don't recommend that, personally. Whenever you get a dog to sit, it kind of makes a big deal about whatever's going on. What we're trying to teach a dog is true acceptance, to where it doesn't matter if a dog's walking by, a car is going by, it doesn't matter. Stay with me, keep your eyes on me. If you're looking at them, that's fine, but your eyes need to bounce. They can't look and lock and hold on to what you're looking at. And by doing that, you're gonna be teaching really good basics. You're gonna be teaching that dog that when he looks at something, he needs to look away. And if he looks at you, you're gonna be giving him a treat. So that's a great way to prevent the dog from becoming reactive at, the typical things that dogs get reactive at, which is you're ringing the doorbell, mailman, guests coming over, other dogs on a leash, dogs barking on a fence, cars. And so for a while, every time your puppy sees that object, you break the puppy's eyes away from it, and then you can give him a treat. And you don't want to do this forever. This is just how to prevent it. Day 1, you got your puppy, or rather day 2 or 3, because we're using leash tugs and things like this. We want to teach him what that means before we start utilizing it to alter his behavior. But that's the basics of what reactivity is, how to prevent it, and then how to stop it when your dog is reactive.